of course, like I'm a homer. I'm not going to ignore that.
What do they see in this guy? This guy sucks.
Prepare yourself for the Raptors Report Podcast with your hosts, Julian and Steve.
Hello, Raptors fans, and welcome back to Raptors Report. It is Monday, January the 19th. We are back to discuss the Toronto Raptors, and unlike last week, there have been a bunch of losses in a row, so our moods are in the gutter. How you doing, Steve?
Disappointed. No, I'm doing all right. We have to prepare ourselves for staying up incredibly late all week for the dreaded road trip that we've been dreading all year. How are you doing?
Well, my wife is going to like it a lot better because I am going to be available to help put the kids to bed. So that is one benefit of the late games. But yeah, I hate the late games. And, being compounded with the fact that going on a West Coast road trip, you're almost guaranteed to be watching more losses than wins. It's pretty brutal. But last night's game was particularly bad for reasons that we're probably going to get into in this episode. So we've got a pretty good show for you guys today. Not going to lie, we've got some topics to discuss, some spicy trade rumors, CMB's Emergence. Obviously, we got to talk about the Raptors' injury problems because, that is connected to CMB. We'll get into that. We're going to talk about the state of the East. So the Eastern Conference has been a huge dogfight for the majority of this season. There's a lot of teams clustered together. The Raptors are no exception there. So we're going to talk about who is moving up, who's moving down. Then we will get into some of the other stuff like whether Giannis Antetokounmpo is in play, because there are some rumblings that are coming out of Milwaukee that he is putting on a brave face, but he might be interested in leaving. So we'll get into that. Why don't we start with the game yesterday, and we can get into some of the topics that are related to it. But what were your thoughts on the game yesterday?
I did not enjoy the watch the second CMB got injured.
Yeah.
Drastically, like that just became a painful watch for the rest of the game. And it kind of, every time you play the Lakers, like we've spoken on it before, you've dove into the Lakers free throw stats over the years. You're never going to enjoy the reffing, but there was like, the refs are just asleep on a lot of stuff. Like even like travels that we did, they're missing. And it's just, overall, it was a bit of a mess. What did you think of it?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like the Lakers have the most blessed whistle of any team in the league. And that's not a joke. Someone has done the stats and looked into it and found that the free throw differential is so egregious that they have more in terms of free throw differential than the next two teams after them combined. So free throw differential is obviously, how many more free throws you shoot than the other team. They are consistently in the positives. They're always above the median. And that's like between genres. Luka's there, Luka's not there. They play a really defensive style with Anthony Davis, and they have a bunch of defensive role players versus not, like being really, their excuse is like, well, how can we foul that much? Of course we don't. The other teams don't shoot as many free throws. We don't play any defense. So there's no, first of all, there's no correlation between not playing defense and fouls. That's just BS. Mm-hmm. And the second is that they were like the top 5 defense or top 6 defense in the league one year. And they had the biggest free throw differential of all time. So it's just absurd. And last night's game wasn't too bad in terms of free throw differential. They only shot 2 free throws more than the Toronto Raptors. Oh my goodness. But some of the stuff that they get away with is hilarious. Somebody posted a video of LeBron James and Con Knipple. Did you see that video?
No, I didn't.
maybe I can find it, but like it was LeBron James just like clearly hacking Concadable twice, just like one on the front, like trying to get the ball, smacked his hand, and then did like a kind of like a hook to try and pull him back into the paint, and then he got fouled out of the rim by Jackson Hayes. No call on any of the plays.
Brutal.
Last night's game, okay, so like the CMB foul, like he was kind of going for the ball, and he hit his arm. It was probably a foul, but like there's some, gray area there. The one where there was no gray area, if you watch that game, you'll remember the just forearm. Remember when Brandon Ingram was running down the court? It's a fast break. Luka Doncic just puts his forearm and hits him in the chest.
Yeah.
There's no call.
Just
it's like, how?
Yep. And on one of CMB's blocks, Luka wraps him with the arm and pushes him. Like,
fish hooks him, like swims right past him.
Yeah, so obviously that makes that just a super hard watch. But then the Raptors shooting.
Oh yeah, that's the story right there.
The guards shot like 2 for 18.
They shot 22% on the game. They ruined the Raptors' perfect record when they shoot under 26% from three. That was the saving grace where you're like, it's not so bad. I mean, they're perfect when they shoot really bad. It's like, not anymore. They're going to have to, start counting from under 22% if they want to be a Texas sharpshooter. But you're absolutely right about the shooting. In fact, that should probably be one of the topics here. But more than anything, let's talk about Luka's antics, because this guy is a menace in a bad way. And he's a menace to the refs. He's a menace to my sanity. The guy is the biggest baby I've ever seen. So, like, there's two guys who I think get more grace from referees than any other player. It's him and Draymond. So with him, it's the whining. It's the, getting in the ref's face, doing the payola sign, doing all the, like, really disrespectful stuff. He's disrespecting the game. Like the way that he behaves in such a horrible way. Draymond is like, just like incandescent fury. Like the guy is just angry, furious that the ref decided to call a foul on him or something like that. And whenever you hear about that, like I know that Draymond has mentioned multiple times that he's like, oh, well, I've shot more I've gotten more technical fouls than anybody else in the association over my time. So I'm definitely getting punished by the refs and they're holding me accountable or whatever. It's like, that's like when a billionaire says that they paid like $2 million in taxes. Yeah. And it's like, see, I paid $2 million in taxes. It's like, dog, you were supposed to pay $100 million in taxes. You're paying 2% of what you were supposed to pay. That's like with Draymond, it's saying flexing all of the T's that he gets. He's supposed to get twice as many. Anyway, hey, and hey, guess who the Raptors are playing tomorrow night?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because the last game we had was quite a barn burner, right? With the Scotty 25 rebound game.
Oh yeah, that was right. Yeah, he punished Draymond for opening his mouth by getting 25 rebounds on his head.
We'll see how that goes. I got to step away for 1 second.
Yeah, I'll do some solo work here. Well, we'll just take you off the screen there. Oh my God, that's too. I feel like I'm too big. I'm taking up the entire frame. There's no room for gray area. But yeah, Luka Doncic was pretty insufferable. Obviously, he's going to do that every game. But I think in this game, it was particularly kind of egregious, especially because like after he injured CMB, I was like, screw this guy. I just don't like watching him play. And I think that a lot of people are like that, which is a shame because he does have a lot of skill. And he's an ambassador for the game. Like he's from another country. He's won accolades. He's been very successful in his career. And, from what I hear, he's a great guy off of the court. But once you put him on the court, like there's some people who respond to a competition in like a good way, that they have like a good relationship with being competitive. And then there's some people who like, if you put them in a competitive situation, it just breaks their brain.
Yeah.
And I think he's just like that. I think that when you put him on a basketball court, he's just going to be like a bigger whiner than anybody else.
I had a thought about it.
Yeah.
Imagine playing Monopoly with Luka, right? Is he not the guy who, if he's not winning, the rules are unfair,
Yeah.
I'm flipping the board, I'm out of here.
Yeah, pretty much.
He gives sore loser when he does any of that, but he acts like that when he's winning and when
No,
he's
I know.
getting calls. It's incredibly frustrating. And like he at the start of that game, he couldn't hit a single shot,
No.
right? So he
No.
goes to a rip through to try to
Yeah.
get himself going by getting to the line. It's exhausting to see as a Raptors fan because, like, you know, Ingram, he got hacked.
So many times under the rim too,
Yeah.
like where you're supposed to get the calls, like
Yeah.
like being bodied, the
Yeah.
forearm shiver to the chest. Yeah, I know that it's conspiratorial, and I know that it's like low hanging fruit, and I know that what it reminds me of is like, you know, the midwit meme, where on one side it's like the really stupid person, on the other side it's like the really smart person, and they agree, the stupid and a smart person agree.
Yeah.
Where the stupid person is saying like the NBA is rigged in favor of the refs. In favor of not the refs, in favor of the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the far side, like me, the smart guy, or just, you know, like the league is rigged in favor of the Lakers.
Yeah.
But like, how could you see what's happening and not think that? Like, is there a message from on high? I don't know, but it's very frustrating to watch.
Yeah, they like just when the Lakers seem like they've got themselves into trouble with the roster construction, with LeBron aging out, all this stuff,
aging out,
and then just you can groom Nico Harrison into giving you Luka, and then it's all good. Like it's
not fair. It's not. Yeah. It's just not fair. But honestly, if you were a fan of that, it's like being a fan on easy mode. Would you want that? Like, would you want like? There's no trials. There's no tribulations. It's like. Have you ever heard of a Mary Sue in
Nope.
It's a character that is put into a work of fiction. A lot of the time it's like fan fiction, where it's a self-insert. Like, so the person puts them into the work.
Right.
And one of the defining characteristics of it is that everything works out for them. They don't have to try very hard. Everybody loves them and is obsessed with them and thinks about them constantly. That's what being a Lakers fan is.
Yeah.
You don't like stars just fall into your lap. The refs glaze you. Every talking head is trying to make every topic, no matter what topic it is, relate back to you.
Yep. Honestly,
it is so hilarious. And I would hate it. Honestly, it would feel like you're the fan of like the most popular band, like, and you're not underground at all. That's not cool.
Exactly. And the other thing is that the entitlement of Lakers fans is that, oh, any player that's kind of good, we're going to trade you our terrible players for this guy because we deserve it. We should get this player for Gabe Vincent.
Pau Gasol. Like, I see what you're saying. Like the fans think that they should be getting these players because they constantly, like, their delusions are reaffirmed constantly.
Yeah. Have you ever seen, like, basically, if there's a player you can think of, there's been a Lakers jersey mock swap.
Oh, of course.
Of every player. Like, you could search like Davis Bertans. Boom, there's one. Like, I don't know why they mock this, but hey, that guy kind of cooked tonight. I want him. Bring the player.
Yeah, absolutely. The Lakers are a special breed of fan, and I think, like, I don't want to. I'm obviously the fandom is not a monolith. Like, there's some really stupid Raptors fans. Not you guys. Okay, I'm not talking about anybody in the chat. I'm not talking about anybody who's watching or listening to this. But you know, there are some people in this fandom that aren't very smart. But obviously, the Lakers fans. You don't have to feel sorry for them, but you have to understand them. Like, they are getting everything served to them on a silver platter. Why wouldn't they feel like they have access to the world's greatest stars?
Honestly.
And that they can just get them for like a bunch of scrubs on their team? Anyway, wow. What is this? Is this LR Lakers Report? Okay. Why don't we move on to the next topic? Because I think we've spent a little bit too much time whining and whinging about last night's game, which was a very boring game. I completely agree.
Honestly, yeah.
Let's talk CMB, because we talked about his injury a little bit, but I kind of want to talk about like what we've seen from him recently. And kind of like what's interesting is that there's a person who replies to me on Twitter quite a bit, and he was wondering, like, he's just kind of thinking, where does this guy fit long term? Like, is he a center? Is he going to be the Toronto Raptors big man of the future? Do you play him at the 3? Is Scotty a 3? Like, I know people say that he's like a point guard or whatever, but like, what is the configuration of this team long term? Do you think that he's in the starting lineup and starting at center?
I think he's making the case. Like, if Draymond Green can start at center for the dynasty of the Warriors, there is a way to make that work. I think the Raptors have a bit of ways to go because they need to add a lot more guard talent, a lot more shooting around that to make that work. But I think you could go forward with a small ball center, because Scotty Barnes gives you some rebounding. He's not afraid to battle underneath, right? Like, that pairing can work. All I know is that I want to see as much of them play together as possible, because they're two like huge high IQ players. That's awesome. But I do like, you can start them and then still stagger minutes and still have them both play a 4 role, because like Darko is trying to have at least one of them on the floor at all time, at least to just keep that defensive identity, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you do, like, it all depends on what they do with their 5 position going forward. Are they going to, because who knows what's going on with Yak, we'll talk about that, but are they going to figure out a solution long term in terms of a real center? And then if that's the case, then you kind of have to shove everybody up, because I don't see anybody else more deserving of starter minutes than CMB right now.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like, I could see starting with a lineup where Scotty is at the 3, Ingram's at the 2, maybe, and then you have somebody at the 1.
Yeah.
And then a center, because it's going to be really tough to bench CMB after seeing what he's able to do defensively, especially. The defense when he is on the court, like, is so disruptive. Like, yes, he's having trouble guarding centers. Like, he can't really guard guys like DeAndre Ayton, who was perfect from the field last night. He couldn't guard Ivica Zubac. Like, he could kind of, like, he was doing a decent job rebounding against him, but Ivica Zubac also had a big night. Like, those guys can kind of just shoot over him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you have him on defense, the guy is doing everything. And the disruption, like, the Raptors defense isn't about rim protection. It's about making it so that teams are afraid to pass the ball, making it so that you create fast break opportunities, creating extra possessions. I think that's where he can be extremely useful. And he does it in 2 ways. Like, the possession stuff is very interesting, because I think, like, when you drill down into what a basketball game is, it's offense, it's defense, and then it's possessions. And a lot of the time it's overlooked, possessions versus defense. And you have to keep in mind that, maybe he can't be the rim protecting center that you really want, but what he can do for you is get you like 7 offensive rebounds in a game.
Yeah. And tip outs and all those like little work on the glass. It maybe doesn't result in a full rebound, but Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like, he'll create an offensive rebound for somebody else. Those, if he gets 7 rebounds, you are taking 7 more shots than the other team. Yeah.
That is insane. If he creates 3 turnovers, if he gets steals and creates turnovers with his length.
Yeah.
Those are extra possessions that your team has that the other team doesn't have.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
Offensively, like, he is such a fantastic finisher. You know how when Yak was healthy, kind of the go-to to start most games was to get Yak a couple touches down low. Pirtle gets 4-6 points really early.
Yeah.
And then everything else starts to open up, right? You punish them a bit inside. That's kind of what the Raptors were starting games with. The last couple of games, they've been doing that with CMB. So many early touches for him because he's such a good finisher around the rim, despite his size. He's able to finish through contact, no problem. And that just it fits perfectly into the identity that the Raptors already have planned for a center,
Mhm.
but just smaller.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like small, but like he's like kind of like he's like a big, like I said, jumbo Kyle Lowry,
Yeah.
because his body, like he has that sort of like, I don't know, odd shape to him. Like he's like kind of, he's not like built, but
He's
like
thick.
he's thick.
He's like, I've seen like Charles Barkley kind of
Yeah,
like round
exactly.
mound
Yeah.
or rebound kind of. Yeah.
Where
Right.
it's like the guy isn't going to be winning like bodybuilding competitions, but you wouldn't go up to him in a bar and like knock his drink on the ground or
No,
something like that.
he's
You know what I mean?
strong. Yeah.
He'd throw you through the window.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
love
don't know
that,
what I'm getting at here, but
but I love that comment that he said when they were like, "Oh, do you have a like?" I can't remember what the question was, but it was like, "Oh, do you have
no,
a
it's like, are
problem
you?
dealing with that?" And he's like, "What do you
Yeah,
say?"
the physicality of the NBA was in
Yeah.
shock to you. He's like, no, man, I lift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Beautiful.
like that.
It shows. Yeah.
That sounds like something Kawhi would say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Kawhi, like the thing about Kawhi was that like it was very easy to understand where Kawhi was going to be. He's just like
Yeah.
a stereotypical three.
Yeah.
Maybe you could play him at the 4 a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas CMB, it's like a little bit more of a puzzle. Like what position does he play? Obviously, you'd like to play him at the 4, but if Scotty Barnes is on your team, like I like what is happening when those two are on the court. Like those guys really know how to play the game of basketball. They're hoopers. Like they can pass the ball. They understand where their teammates are on the court, and they play like a physical brand of basketball that I think is going to be really popular here in Toronto. Because like, I don't know, do you follow the Leafs at all, Steve?
I used to. They broke my heart too many times, so I don't pay attention until playoffs, and then I get sad again.
One of the big things I remember about Leafs fandom, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the chat who follows them, is that like most of the most popular players on the Leafs have always been the kind of grinder guys.
Yeah.
Like the guys, maybe they aren't the most talented in the world, but they like are 110% guys. Like as Jack Armstrong says, they bring their lunch pail and hard hat to work or whatever. Yeah. Those are always the most popular players on the Leafs. And I think that that's the same thing with Raptors fans, is that you kind of go and cheer for the guy who is, you know, really maximizing their talent level rather than maybe the guy who is like a Vince Carter type who had all the talent in the world, but never really, you know, put it all together. So I think like CMB plays that style of basketball that's going to be really popular here, which is like just outwork the other guy, hit them and finish, but also with like an intelligence there too. Like the guy is not a brute. He knows how to play the game. So man, I'm just, I keep an eagle eye right on CMB almost the entire time. Like he's always in my vision. I'm kind of peeking at him when I'm watching the game. And he really rewards that style of watching. Like when I was scouting him, I was like, oh man, this guy is like doing a lot of really good stuff when he's on the court. So
yeah, he's very easy to make like videos about and stuff, because any like farming of clips is so easy. Like you're just like, oh, CMB steal. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, okay. He absolutely punked that guy. Like, and people around the league are taking like note. Like he's getting a lot of really good press right now. People are making compilation vids. People are talking about it. He has a chance to make the rising star team. We'll see. This rookie class
this is
so good.
Yeah, it's like last year, he'd be a shoo-in. This year.
Yeah. If he can get back from this injury quick, then put more games together, maybe he can ride that hot hand, but he's running out of time for it. They're going to pick very soon. And this injury doesn't help. Right. But I think he deserves it. He's just been fantastic. And
what'll help him is that he's starting as a lot of the games, right?
Yeah.
So that he's getting some work going for him, and he's getting like, people take account of things like double doubles. They care about that. They care about like the high assist totals. Like people are fantasy nerds. So if like, that's one of the best ways of getting somebody's attention is like, oh, they were a late pickup in, you know, one of their things, and they have a head-to-head with somebody else, and then they got beaten because Colin Murray Boyles had like 5 blocks in one game or something like that, right? Then they're like, oh, okay, he's doing this kind of stuff. And then, you know, people like that kind of stuff. So
that's what helped turn some of Scotty Barnes's PR around, is like all the fantasy nerds who were like, oh my God, I got to get this guy. He just fills up the stat sheet. Like, the Real app, they give like rankings kind of based on how much you're filling the stat sheet and stuff. Scotty's 13th in the league on Real ranking, which is like not a real stat, but it's all the top
they count
players
all
and yeah, right, because he's such a stat stuffer.
And even like he does all, like, let's talk about Scotty Barnes for a second, but like he is a fantasy stud because his shooting percentages, the three is not as good anymore, but free throw percentage is big.
Yep.
He doesn't turn the ball over. Like, he does turn the ball over, but assist to turnovers is like over 2, I think.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of rebounds. He does all of the stuff that, like, he's a fantasy monster. He's like a new school Sean Marion, who is always one of the top picks in fantasy. So, okay, let's get to the next topic. We love CMB in this household. We are going to be talking about stand pat versus make a trade, because I feel like this is like a dividing line in the fandom. I feel like there's a lot of people who are on team trade. There are people who are like riding the dragon. They're like the trade buzz is too much for them. They think that the Toronto Raptors have a chance. Finally, it's time to make a trade. It's time to fix the team. Then there are other people who are like maybe a bit more negative about this season. Maybe they don't think that the Raptors are destined for greatness. Maybe they don't believe in the whole thing where you make the playoffs one year and then you grow to the next step and then the next step. They think that if you're not a contender, you should be in the lottery, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of people on both sides of the fence. I want to get your take, Steve. Just conceptually, would you rather the Raptors stand pat right now? They're off to their best start in years. Stand pat, or are you on team trade? You got to fix the problems with the team. Where do you stand? Just from a spiritual point of view.
Spiritually, absolutely team trade. This is not like when they did the Jakob trade where they were 8-9 games under 500. They are the opposite and would be like second if they were able to fix some of the problems. You're missing multiple starters and you're still, the Knicks are struggling, but you're still right there with the Knicks who think they're a contender, right? I'm not afraid to trade a couple picks. Typically, I've been like a don't touch the picks guy because I've been pretty invested in the rebuild. But now I'm like, this is the time, not the 2026 pick. I'd like to keep that, but trade a future pick or two, upgrade this roster. You cannot be stuck with the IQ contract and the Pirtle contract going forward. It's looking bad, right? And like, you've got to fix these problems. And there are teams, I think part of the reason why some people might not be team trade is the options that we have. They're not perfect options, which is what happens. A perfect option is very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Right. So
sure.
it's you get what you pay for. So when you look at if the option is Ja, if the option is Anthony Davis, these are not perfect options. Sabonis, but what's the cost?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's that's why I wanted to get where you were spiritually.
Yeah,
because I think it's such an easy cop out to say, it's like, well, it depends on the deal. It depends on the deal. Of course, it depends on the deal.
Yeah.
If somebody's going to just drop a star into your lap for, like Luka Doncic style, we're back there. But like, if that's going to happen, of course, everybody's going to be on team trade. If, it's going to cost you 5 first-round picks to get a role player, speaking of the Knicks, then everybody's out, right? So,
no, I'm in. There are 2 players that are in a way negatively affecting the team. One with their play, one with their absence, right? And I'm not blaming Pirtle for having a bad back. It's just unfortunate, but that's a lot of salary, and for some reason we have done nothing to address it. Maybe they're cooking something bigger. I hear the trade market is on hold because of a certain big name, certain freakishly fellow
large person from the Mediterranean.
Yeah, so like I think I'm just all in team trade. Like even if even
I
if it's
kind
not
of
a good return, like not a good return, but not a perfect return.
right. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah. It could be a little 50-50 for your taste, right? Like it could
Yeah,
be you'd be on it if it was a 50-50 kind of deal.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
for
with you. I think I'm with you on that. I think I'm on team make a trade.
Mhm.
I want to see what this team can do. And I like the players that are on the team who are like, I like Brandon Ingram. I like Scotty
Yeah,
Barnes. I like CMB. Let's see what we got here.
yeah,
Let's see if they can take it to the next level. But obviously, the big caveat there, it has to be a good trade. It can't be just one of those
yeah.
make do trades.
But I was,
And
when the OG and Pascal era was ending, I
mhm,
was just team make a trade so they don't walk. You don't
right,
have that same fear.
urgency.
Yeah, right. Because it's like, oh, blah, blah. But like literally, like I celebrated the OG trade simply because I was so petrified that he was walking for nothing
Mhm.
after you just left Fred for nothing. Like, and I was like, this is just bad asset management. You got to get something. Okay, cool. Two guys under 25, roll with it. That's fine. Right. But
Yeah,
this
the
is a
Denzel
different,
method.
yeah. But this is a different thing where the gun is on you because
The
the
expectations are higher,
yeah, the
and
expectation, yeah. And the clock is ticking in the other way where it's like, okay, now Pirtle's contract is gonna rise and what
right.
if Quickly's value drops more or something? You don't
Well,
know,
here's
right?
one of the things that I think is that like I have been like on the sort of optimistic side
Hmm.
of Emmanuel Quickly. So like my estimation has gone down,
Yeah.
okay, of Quickly over time with everybody else. But I would say I'm on the high side
Hmm.
of the wave. So I'm a glass half full realist where I'm saying like, yeah, his play has sucked and my estimation of him is going down, but I would still say that I'm more optimistic than the average fan about him. So what
Definitely.
I'm thinking now, here's the newest Cope.
Okay.
I think that right now his value is at its lowest.
Yeah.
And we've gone into the reasons why. Like he doesn't have a guy he can play
Yep.
pick and roll ball with.
Hmm.
But we've gone over that a gazillion times. But I think that his values makes me feel a little bit more stand paddish. But we'll see. We'll see. Well, let's move to the next topic. We can kind of blend topics here. You were kind of saying that the league is on hold, waiting for the biggest shoe to drop, a size 14 or whatever the hell he wears. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the guy
Yeah.
has been all over the map in terms of what he's been saying. And I think basically what it comes down to is that he wants to get a statue in Milwaukee
Hmm.
and he wants to be loved there and have that as his like home base, kind of
Yeah.
Vince style, like how we honored him or something. He doesn't want
Yeah.
to piss off that fan base. Okay. He's very connected with them. At the same time, he wants to go, I think.
Yeah.
I think he wants to be on a better team, and he knows that it can't happen in Milwaukee because they've screwed up everything so badly.
Hmm.
So what he's doing right now is going out and saying all the stuff that stars say in order to make the fan base feel better about themselves. Like, I want to be here long term. I love it here. This is great. But he's working with his agent to find a better landing spot for him. Where do you think he ends up?
That's the tricky, like, apparently he wants New York, yada, yada,
Yeah.
right? And it's like New York's not loving the cat experience right now, but they don't have a ton of assets either. And if your return for Giannis is Cat and Tyler Kolek and Ariel Huckporty and little pieces, like
Yeah.
that would be terrible. And like there will be setbacks so far.
It would be a catastrophe.
But it is crazy that the whole ethos around a Giannis trade before was, well, the demand would be so big that your team would be so bad
Stripped
by the
down,
time, yeah, you'd be so stripped. Well, look at the Bucks. The chances are that you could give up an all-star level player and still have a better roster once Giannis joins your team. Like if you're
Yeah.
the Knicks, you could send Cat and maybe Bridges or something like that and still have a more competitive team than the Bucks had and
Yeah.
still be in good shape. So I would expect if something's going to happen, they'll work together to figure out getting him to the Knicks. And
I think the Knicks or Miami.
yeah,
I think Miami is
Yeah.
also definitely in play. They've got like, first of all, the market is kind of, that's where stars like to go if
Yep.
they haven't had success with their first team.
Yeah.
And they've struck out so many times that they might just be willing to like cash out, right? Like
Yeah.
they've had so many of these deals blow up in their face.
Yeah.
They can't let their fan base down again. They've been in so many of these things, and then they give that little crappy excuse to all their fans about how, oh, we were on the phone, but they were asking for this and that. And we didn't want to mortgage the future, and we've got to stick with the guys that we have. They're sick of that crap. They want the big names. They want the big guns. They want Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I think it's down to those two teams. But
yeah, and I think like I would assume maybe Bam would get moved in that. And
could be, yeah.
If you get Bam and I mean, it'd be tough for Miami to trade their other center, Kalal Ware, but that's like the juiciest probably part of anything you would ask for Miami. So I think like Miami has a more attractive trade package ultimately with some of their guys that they could package in there. So I do see it happening. I guess my hesitance would just be that they continuously strike out because Pat Riley just, I don't know, he wants to win the trade outright or something and he can't get it done. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He's the general manager old age home has not been kind for Miami fans. They have been sort of all of the stuff that like heat culture and like 5 a.m. practices and all of that stuff has been kind of like a blessing and a curse for them because it drives away so many of people that, would like to play there, but don't want that kind of schedule.
Yeah.
I just had an idea about a trade. What if, like, you were like, well, they might have to trade Bam. Who needs a center? What if another 3-team deal?
Yeah.
Our picks, prospects or whatever, go out for Bam.
Okay.
Giannis goes into Miami.
Yeah.
We get Bam. So it's like,
and then Bucks get picks and salary and yada to restart.
Yeah, exactly.
Not bad. Not bad.
Right.
Scotty and Bam would be insane. And I've imagined like Bam, he can be awesome and he can be not awesome sometimes, but I've had when things were looking a little shakier with the franchise and team and stuff like that, I was like, Scotty's going to end up in Miami, isn't he? He's going to go home after eventually and not re-sign with us. He's going to end up playing with Bam because Scotty fits heat culture decently, yada, yada, right?
Yeah.
But if we bring Bam here, that'd be interesting. And Bam is not.
I've always liked Bam.
Yeah.
The thing about Miami fans is that they were like expecting a star.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, why can't this guy score 20 points a night?
Yeah.
Why is he so inconsistent? It's like, he's a role player.
Yeah.
But he's a really, really good role player.
Yeah.
And he can play center and he's can do a lot of stuff. He would
excellent defender. And if you look at him comparatively to the other guy that we consistently get mentioned, Anthony Davis, Bam is substantially healthier. And isn't afraid to play center. I don't hear any prima donna like, oh, I don't want to play there, blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes his three is hitting. He's had stretches where he's, at 34%, 35%, then he is whatever, right? Like he's similar to Scotty in that way. I like it. I think it'd be good, and it fits their kind of two-way style.
Yeah, I am starting to really kind of marinate that idea into my head.
But
I'm liking it.
But how many picks are we willing to send out to add?
I don't know. One?
One top 30 projected pick?
I don't know. Yeah, a second round pick? I don't know. Okay. Well, it's about halfway through the season.
Yeah.
And the Eastern Conference has been very odd. Like there's been a lot of stuff that a lot of people didn't expect. For most people, that means Toronto being number 4 in the East. That's probably their biggest. Not us, though. I think I said 4.
I think you did.
I think I said 4. So I'm not surprised. But why don't we take a look quickly at the Eastern Conference, and we can kind of take a look at the winners and losers, like the teams that are moving up and the teams that are moving down, the teams that are kind of holding steady. Let me just quickly share the screen here. Okay, there we go. So let's take a look. Detroit is still at the top. Then the biggest surprise for me is Boston.
Yeah.
And I
definitely.
think that they could actually become the first seed if, by the end of the season. They have been one of the best offensive teams in the league, and they've certainly cooked the Raptors a number of times. The Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers have been disappointing, I would say.
Yeah.
The Knicks, especially recently, they have really slid down the standings from where they were. The Cleveland is kind of the opposite. They've kind of been the hotter team right now. They're essentially tied with the Toronto Raptors for fourth in the Eastern Conference because they've been winning quite a few games recently. Let's just quickly take a look. I mean, it's been kind of up and down, but you can see there's a lot of green there. Whereas halfway through the season, like especially in this stretch, they looked like pushovers. Obviously, they've been injured quite a bit this season, but at the same time, they were expected to be like the first seed. I thought they were going to be the first seed. Philadelphia. So they're a pretty crazy team just in conceptually. Like they are stuck in so many different timelines. Like they've got the Joel Embiid timeline, which is like he's falling apart, but then when he plays, he's actually really good. Then they've got the Maxey timeline, and he has been a phenomenal superstar. And then they've got this new timeline with VJ Edgecombe. But at the same time, they've actually been playing pretty competent basketball. I think that they've actually, let me quickly take a look at their, they've lost 2 in a row, but they've been actually playing some pretty decent ball since the new year.
Yeah. And they're beating Indiana right now, right? So
could be, yeah.
Well,
if they're playing Indiana, I can tell you who's winning.
Yeah. But like, would they pass us if they win? How does that win percentage work?
No, the Raptors are quite a bit ahead of them. It's only so here's how it works. If you ever look at a standing and you want to know who's ahead, if you have more wins than losses, if you have fewer losses, you're and the same amount of distance. Like if you're like right now, the Raptors are 6 games over 500, right? Yeah. Whereas the 76ers are 4 games over 500. So it's not comparable. But if you had, say, 26 wins and 18 losses, you would be 6 over, right? The Raptors would be 6 over with 25 and 17, right? The Raptors would be ahead percentage-wise,
right? Because
they have fewer wins. But if you have fewer wins than losses and you want to find out who's ahead, you do it the other way around. Okay. So whoever has more wins would be the one that has the higher percentage. So that's how it works. But okay, that's a big tangent that we just went on. Orlando is a very weird one because they have been mid all season long. Yeah. Like it looked like they were going to pull out. Like if we take a look here, oops. I'm looking at the wrong screen. My bad. Sorry. Here's Orlando. Look at how mid that is.
Yep.
Like it's almost like win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. And it's like also in both directions.
Yeah.
Like Paolo Banchero has had probably one of the most disappointing seasons I've ever seen from a guy who has had as much hype as he has.
Yeah.
He was being compared unironically, like their fans were afraid to say it, but you could read the subtext and they were like, they'd show like a video of him doing something like really skilled and then dunking the ball. And they'd be like, who does this remind you of? With the like implication that it's like, this guy is the new LeBron.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
and the Magic had everybody having them second seed, first seed. Like they had a lot of, like equity from last season where they were like, they're going to take a big step.
Oh yeah,
but
for sure.
Franz being injured is so detrimental to them. Suggs being injured always.
Yeah.
He gets hurt all the time, partially because the way he plays, sometimes accidental stuff happens. But
Jonathan Isaac is same ditto.
yeah, right. Like they do have this talented roster, but if not for Anthony Black having
Anthony
this
Black.
emergency, they would be probably in like 11th seed like right now, because that's how close this is. And that would be easily one of the most disappointing seasons from any team, considering that I don't remember what their over or under was, but they were like, top 3 seed expected. And, they were like, Paolo's going to be all NBA, which is going to max his contract, which, is going to start to cause them big problems that they have. Honestly, they're lucky that he won't make all NBA this season if he doesn't make all NBA, because they've got this contract crunch kind of starting to happen. And that's like a sneaky benefit, because look what happened with Cleveland. Mobley got Defensive Player of the Year.
You got that big bonus.
That big bonus, and he has been disappointing. He hasn't been terrible, but he's been disappointing for the accolades that he stacked last year and what you expected, right?
Yeah. He is trending towards like a Bam sort of trajectory, in my opinion, which is not bad. I mean, like Bam is a really good player, but like they're both kind of role players, right?
Yeah. He got he got a lot of Bosch comparisons, and I was like, Bosch was a number 1 option.
Yeah.
When he was on Toronto, like Bosch was, he was
25 and 10 in the dead ball era, like in the 2008, 2009, he was putting up 25 points per game,
and he was aggressive,
like
could get his own shot.
Yeah,
exactly right. And I was like, that's
not
the
elbow game and stuff.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know if you want to start making like Bosch Miami comps, but Mobley's 3-pointer has to come along a bit more for that to be late stage Bosch, right?
Yeah.
But once they started comparing him to like Tim Duncan and whatever the hell they were doing, it was like,
Kevin Garnett. Garnett. You watch, like, I hated Kevin Garnett. I'm an old head, so I used to like watch him all the time play against the Raptors. He was very similar in terms of temperament and like aggression and stuff to Draymond Green.
Yeah.
So he was insane when he played on the court. He would like bark at players, get down on his hands and knees and act like a lunatic.
Yeah.
But the guy was just like, he was built different in terms of his mentality. And he was a killer. Like he was trying to win the game on every possession.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't see that attitude with Mobley. He doesn't have the killer instinct. And if you want to talk, like we're talking about the Magic right now, like the real comps, like I think Scotty and Franz, like those guys are very close together in terms of how good they are. I'm a big fan. Like there's a rivalry, no doubt about it, with Franz Wagner and like how good he is. And it seems to be trading a bit like I have him above Mobley. I have Franz. Like if you were to say like, who would you start your franchise with? And injuries weren't a big concern. I'd take Franz.
Yeah.
Because Franz, you can put the ball in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
He has moves. He's almost as good defensively. Like he's a really good defender.
Yeah.
He can rebound. He can pass the ball. His 3-point shooting has been pretty good this season.
Yeah.
So it's not about like, forget Banchero. Like Banchero, I don't think is in Scotty's stratosphere. The real comp, like the real sort of competition there for Scotty Barnes is Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely been their best player.
And he was really behind a lot of their success last season because him and Banchero got injured at different times. But when Banchero got injured and then Franz was alone, it was like, okay, guys, let's see what Franz can do by himself. And they were just snapping off win after win after win because he's good at leading a team.
Mm-hmm.
He takes a back seat when Banchero's there, but it's like, I don't think they can not coexist together. But if I were a Magic fan, I wish that they would play more through Franz when they have the opportunity to, because I just think he's a better player overall. He's more efficient. He doesn't settle the same way that Banchero does.
Yeah, he's plays a more rugged style of basketball. Mm-hmm. He's more of a guy who he's not afraid to mix it up. Yeah. The problem with him is that he's got kind of role player brain.
Yeah.
In that, like, he doesn't demand the ball as much as he should. But that's a discussion for another day. What I'm interested in is Miami as well. Because like Miami, it seems like they're either awesome or they're absolutely terrible. And look at this. Like, as I say that, let's look at the things. They're beating Denver like in a blowout. They beat who was it? Phoenix. They beat Phoenix.
Mhm.
They beat OKC. Like they've got some
Crazy.
quality wins,
Yeah.
but they have gotten absolutely beat down by like the Raptors. Look, they got beaten by Indiana. Like
That's
this is the
crazy.
most mixed up team
Yeah.
I've seen because they play such a weird style of basketball.
Yeah.
It's like so bizarre that like if you watch their games, it's like they don't even run any plays.
Mhm.
Like they're just such a bizarre team to watch. But I'm pretty interested to see. Like I think that they're in a holding pattern right now,
Yeah.
and they are literally scouring the marketplace for an upgrade. Like they are trying to find their guy because right now they have a bunch of like sort of quasi guys, and they're not a young team, so they got to figure out what they're doing. But that's kind of the East right now. Like I don't even think we need to talk about any other teams, to be honest.
No,
Like I don't see Chicago doing anything. I don't see Atlanta doing anything. Milwaukee is in a hole. Charlotte, actually, we could talk about them because they have been kind of surprising.
They're fun.
They're fun.
Didn't they beat LKC too? And
they did. Look at this.
Yeah,
they have been really good lately.
They beat
Denver. Yep. The Lakers.
Yeah.
That was well, Utah's no.
But
here's the OKC game.
When we lost to Charlotte, a lot of people were dunking on me about it, being like, "Oh, you guys, whatever." And I was like, "Wait till you play Charlotte. Wait till Colin Knuppel games you, okay? Because you're not ready for that. You're not ready for Moussa Diabate destroying you on the boards. Like you're not ready for Miles Bridges of all people to hit a corner three, and it, and Charlotte's really interesting because I think they should trade Bridges this season and recoup some assets for him now and continue their rebuild going forward and get rid of that situation and just go with their young guys. They're in a good spot. They're in a good
I think so.
part of the rebuild,
They're going to be a contending for a playoff spot next season, I think. Miller, like he's kind of not lived up to the hype as much.
Yeah.
But they've kind of like LaMelo has come back. He's kind of like try to help the team win, like which is kind of encouraging to see. Colin Sexton was a really good pickup for them. Moussa Diabate is a huge hit, and Con Knuppel is probably the most polished teenager I've ever seen. I have ever seen in my life. I've never seen a teenager play basketball like Con Knuppel.
Yeah, I don't remember the mark that he hit, but it was like 153s or something like that, faster than anybody. Like it was like he's at a historic rate right now of made threes. And he's going to, at this, health, everything allowing, he's going to smash Keegan Murray's rookie numbers of threes made. He's just a really, really good basketball player.
Yeah. Apparently he's 20 years old now. So he was, he was at one point in the season a teenager, but he's not anymore. But like, I've seen guys come into the league who are better than him, like rookie LeBron, better than him. Who else was better than him in his first year? Probably Zion was better in his first year. Like there are better players than him, but I've never seen a player as polished as him in his first season. The guy is doing like 10-year vet stuff. And the way that he looks for his shots is like he is a savant. Like he is finding all the angles and using his body in a way that like only people who practice like years can get to. So I'm completely blown away by that guy.
Which he's from this basketball family. He's got all these brothers, everything, right? Like it's like in his blood, right? And it's crazy. Like how many rookies would you actually confidently want to start on a playoff team? I would start him on a playoff team. Like
for sure. No doubt about it. Like the guy, especially at the end of games and stuff, like the fact that he can take the last shot and he doesn't have the kind of fear that you would expect from a rookie. And like Miles Bridges, like when they asked him, he's like, "Oh, he's been our best player." Like he's been the best player on the team, which is true. I mean, like he is doing the heavy lifting from the shooting and scoring standpoint. So I liked him as a prospect, but I didn't think that he was going to be like this. That was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, he's like what I think so many people just had a prediction that somebody like Grady would be, where it's my God, sniper, right?
there was a comment that said like, I did the scouting report on Khan, and I had him in the top 10. And I was like, this guy does a lot of different things that good teams like and good teams want. And I was like, my player comp was like Devin Booker, like if he reaches the tippity top of his ceiling. And people are like, no, man, we've got somebody like that. We've got a shooter. We've got Grady Dick. I'm like, these guys are not the same player.
Yeah.
They're not even close to the same player. And that's not even a huge diss on Grady. It's just they're not the same kind of player.
Have you ever seen that tweet where it was a rumor of the Raptors trying to trade into to draft Shea? Like they wanted to trade up, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there's a comment, and this poor guy gets his quote tweeted all the time because of this. He says, "We don't need him. We have DeLon Wright." And it aged so poorly. He's like, we already have DeLon Wright. He's just another DeLon. Oh,
wow. That's pretty impressive. A guy who like that is the one thing that DeLon Wright was not known for was scoring. And compared to like the best scorer I've ever seen. Like, yeah, that's a pretty bad one to have on the books.
And he never deleted it, so kudos to him.
Good for him. Don't be a coward. Let your takes stand.
That's right.
I mean, I've deleted some tweets too, but okay, let's continue. Let's talk about John Morant. Had on the episode that I did today, I discussed that Tim Bontemps, the ESPN writer and probably my favorite member of the Hoop Collective, he was on the Hoop Collective or a show. I can't remember exactly where he was, but I heard the clip, and he said basically it was Hoop Collective, and he said that he did not expect John Morant to be traded to the Heat or the Bucks. So
who does that leave with interest in him?
I don't know. I mean, maybe a place where you can't purchase handguns.
Yeah, like
a place with very weak Second Amendment rights, maybe even non-existent Second Amendment rights.
Some would say, right? It would be so annoying if they did trade for him and then he just somehow gets a gun. And
that would be impressive. I'd be impressed. It's like when Ron Burgundy's dog breaks into the fridge and gets the cheese.
I'm not even mad.
I'm impressed. The wheel of cheese.
Yeah, no, was it Michael Scotto or somebody reported what they would have expected for John? It was like, a young player who needs another chance, a pick that's not necessarily a lottery pick. Like it's laying out stuff, and then it was like, and they're willing to take on bad salary, and it was like,
wow, okay, I can place each and every one of those people, and I won't say their names. You'll just have to figure out who we're talking about when we say that the Raptors have those things on their team.
But the obvious issue is his 20% 3-point shooting.
Oh yeah, it's a bad fit.
Yeah,
I think that the reason you would do this is you have other moves in mind. I think that this is, or you are just rolling like what is the term I'm looking for? You're kicking the ball down field.
Yeah.
You're not, or kicking the can down the road.
That's it.
Aha, we came to the right metaphor. But you're kicking the can down the road. You're getting a guy who has clear star power that is he's a distressed asset. The team, they're trying to pretend right now that he's like okay with staying there and that he's a Grizzlies guy for life. And I know, how much worse could we get? But this would be a move where you're just basically trying to get an asset. It's like buying, like you're a family man, but you see a Ferrari on the side of the road for like 10 grand. You're like, okay, it can't hold my kids and I can fit one grocery bag into it, but it's a $10,000 Ferrari.
You are describing my father. So he, when I was a kid, he was on eBay all the time and he bought a Porsche for like $8,000, but he didn't expect to win the bid. And he called me in and he was like, hey, so I accidentally won this. And I was like, what do you mean? And it's in Florida. And he's like, I've got to go down and collect it from Florida, yada, yada. So he did that. He went down, he picked up this Porsche, everything. He ended up selling it for like $13,000. made a small little bit of profit on it. Are the Raptors pulling on my dad? What if they
Wow.
get Ja, recoup a little value, which is what like other teams try to do. Sometimes they get too greedy. I think Utah tried to do that with Lowry. Boom, recoup value, pump his value up, and then trade him for a bunch of picks. But they held on a little bit too long and gave him too big of a contract, and now they can't. Right?
Even though he's like really good and he probably deserves the
really
contract.
good.
But
Yeah.
like anytime, like if you watch the Jazz play, like he's balling. Him and oh my god, Keontae George, the one that got away. Like although he took his sweet ass time to become a really good player, I know that half the fan base would have given up on him by the time he got to this point.
We were victory lapping Grady over him last season.
I know, but like then Grady had a really crappy second half to the season, and then it's like, you know, the picture of the two ladies where it said it's like they're having a mid-off.
Yeah,
I remember using that picture for Keontae and Grady Dick, because it's like, yeah, both these guys are kind of like not very good. But yeah, Keontae has popped off this season, so is Lauri Markkanen. But I get what you're saying. Like Ja Morant, he has a lot of talent, and right now, Memphis is clearly trying to rebuild. Like they're trying to come up with a way to get this guy out of there so that they can figure out what they're going to do. And the problem with him is that he's been on a downward trend for like the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And he does, like, the reason that you put up with the fact that he can't shoot and he's not interested in playing hard defense is because the guy was like one of the most incredible guard athletes of all time.
Yep.
And the pressure he put on the basket was like transformational for an offense.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't seem to give a shit there.
What if he's Vince Cartering it? I don't want
That's
to
what I think he's literally doing that. I think that's what's happening. I think the next team that he goes to is he's gonna get back to being where he was.
Do you take a bet on somebody who was getting face of the league type shouts just a few years ago? This is not a Ben Simmons situation where he's pretty broken and mentally pretty broken and stuff like that, where it's like, it's a broken car. Why would you try to get that? There might still be something in that. And if the cost is not exuberant, I'm all for it, because they took a bit of a risk with the Ingram thing. Okay, he's injured. Okay, whatever, but it's a buy low, right?
Yeah.
So can you win on another buy low?
I think that's a good point. I think that it might actually cost them more than you might be thinking. I think it might cost like 2 first round or even 3 first round picks to get off of
to the Quickly money.
The Quickly contract.
Yeah.
Quickly is owed a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
But I think that like them trying to get off of Quickly's contract is something that I can get behind. If it makes sense in terms of what they're like doing with this core. Yeah. It can't just be a dump. Like I don't want to see a dump. I want to see them try and actually get somebody that is going to contribute for this team.
Yeah.
And my problem is that, if you trade for Ja Morant this season, I just don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to work this season unless they make another big trade.
Yeah, because they need shooting badly. And to get another guy who you're relying on him basically just becoming an automatic paint touch and not having a substantial pick and roll partner, which he has always benefited from having.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's had Steven Adams. He's had Zach Edey. Yeah. If you can get Jakob Poeltl healthy, he's, a good screen assist guy. He's a good, he sets good screens. CMB sets good screens, but it's a lot smaller of a pick and roll partner and not exactly.
It's not a traditional one. Yeah. But like, maybe the problem isn't CMB. Maybe the problem is Quickly.
Yep.
And the idea that you bring in a Ja Morant and you have him run 10 pick and rolls, 15 pick and rolls with CMB a game. And then you have CMB catching the ball in the low post, like with his hands in the air, getting it right there next to the basket and having him get like 5 uncontested layups a game. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's what's happening if you bring in a Ja Morant. Maybe Scotty Barnes gets easier shots. Like, of course, the creation, like, first of all, Ja Morant, it doesn't matter if you're talking about diminished Ja Morant. His creation skills are much better than Emmanuel Quickley's. There's just no comparison. Like the fact that he can get to the rim with his athleticism, at the drop of a hat, he can just get past good defenders. He can just blow past them. Emmanuel Quickley's not doing it.
Yeah,
I think the offense would probably improve. That's an understatement. It would improve.
Yeah.
Even if he's not delivering 3-point percentage, but is it going to improve to the point where it's worth 3 first-round draft picks?
Yeah.
That's the question you got to ask yourself, not whether he's going to be better than Emmanuel Quickley.
Yeah. But, and the one thing I'm not worried about with Ja, which a lot of people keep bringing up, is off the court stuff. I think he has matured a little bit. I know he got a small suspension this year for disagreeing with the team and the coach and stuff. But when you look at the Grizzlies' overall culture, that has disappeared out the door. Dylan Brooks, very close friend of Ja, very big culture fit, gone. Bane, his closest teammate, when he won the most improved player, he tried to give it to Bane. This is his guy, right? Yeah. And we always don't think about what happens when teams trade away a guy's best friend or trade away. It's that hurts them. And then
sometimes you win a championship, though.
Yeah, that have. But it's you'd have to be a real piece of shit to not fit into this core.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Be able to work with the guys that are in this room. And I think you surround a guy like Ja with acceptance and the power of friendship like the Raptors have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it works. He has
a relationship with Darko too.
Exactly. Right.
One of the things I think is also there's a generational divide. And I think that he's not a kind of locker room leader that you would expect.
Yeah.
And what I'm thinking is that he is the eldest of this group.
Yeah.
That expect him to lead the team. And he's just not that guy. He's not the kind of guy that is going to be able to do that. And what I'm thinking is that if you put him on a team with a Brandon Ingram, you put him on a team with Jakob Poeltl and Scotty Barnes and a bunch of other guys around his age who are ready to compete, ready to get to that next level. It's not going to be I'm not worried about the culture fit. What I'm worried about is the on-court stuff. What are they going to do? How is this going to work? Yeah. I think that he would be able to fit in with the Toronto Raptors. And I think that probably in Toronto, there's going to be fewer distractions than there would be maybe in Memphis. So,
and just don't let T. Morant, his dad, across the border.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep him. Oh, sorry, Trump said you couldn't come in. Just make some BS up.
Yeah,
see if that works.
Your new dad is Garrett Temple. He's everybody's dad. Yeah. It's okay. Things are better now.
Just let him FaceTime. Unlimited FaceTime. Bell can hook that up. Or something.
They give him a discount. They're 10% off. There you go.
Okay. Well, you know what? I think we have literally exhausted all of the topics that we had for today. And you know what? It's about 10 after the hour. So it sounds like there's a dog that is desperately trying to claw its way out of your home right now. So why don't we wrap up the podcast right now? I think this is a good podcast. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. If you are just listening to the tail end of this, you can watch the whole thing or listen to the whole thing on Spotify and YouTube. Make sure to give us a follow there so you can always stay on top of Raptors Report content. And as always, Steve, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening and watching. We really appreciate your support. Cheers, guys.